And there are a few things I did before I started using my new MacBook. Now, sometimes some of you do forget because you're so excited to use your new shiny toy and very quickly realize that some things are not working like you wanted it to. And I know it gets frustrating, but the first thing I did was pretty basic. That is to check for updates. There have probably been OS updates since your MacBook has been shipped. So you can check for the most recent updates by clicking on the Apple logo on the top left, going to About This Mac, and then Software Update. Your MacBook will automatically check for updates and go ahead and install the ones that are available. Next, we are going to take care of the dock. This is the hub of macOS, and it's something that you're going to interact with and use every day. So make sure that it's set up just how you want. First, let's show you how to do a little bit of cleanup. If there are apps on here that you don't use very often, they need to go. To remove an app from the dock, right-click on it by clicking with 2 fingers on the trackpad, or control-click and then select Options. You will see Remove from Dock. You can resize the dock by clicking on the divider and then sliding up and down on the trackpad to get the size that you want. Now, if you have more width, you can move the dock to the right side or the left, so this way you have more vertical space on the screen. You can also right-click on the divider to move it left or right. Or you can choose to auto-hide it by right-clicking on the divider. And if you're using the MacBook Pro instead of the MacBook Air, then you can customize the touch bar with the features that you want. Start out by going to System Preferences, Keyboard, Customize Control Strip. Then you can select from the function keys that are available. Drag them onto the touch bar. For example, if you take a lot of screenshots and you want that option available, you can quickly add it. Now there are some trackpad related options that I changed. It's responsive, it's accurate, and I love all the different gestures. But the default settings aren't my favorite. First, I have to activate tap to click. I think it's a much better user experience than having to press harder to do that. Go to System Preferences, Trackpad, point and click, and then check the tab. You can also modify the tracking speed if you want to make it slower or faster. Still on the trackpad subject, you may want to adjust the scrolling direction. So if you go to System Preferences, Trackpad, Scroll and Zoom, you'll see a checkbox for scroll direction. Natural means that if you pull down the content, scrolls down. This means that if you pull down, the content will actually scroll up. Just make sure that you have it set just how you prefer. Then you're all set. The next thing I do is modify a few display options in Finder. I have moved from Windows to macOS, and I'm so used to certain features in File Explorer. So I go to View and then click Show Path Bar and Show Status Bar. The path bar shows you exactly where the file is located within the file system. Really helpful when something is buried pretty deep in multiple folders. It's also easier to move back out instead of having to do that one folder at a time. The status bar shows you how many files are there in the folder or how many are selected, and then how much free space you have on the hard drive. I wish it showed you the size of the files when you select multiple files. I know you can activate preview files and it will show you that there, but I think there's plenty of space down on the status bar where that info could be presented. So maybe that's something that Apple will add in the future. Next, the scroll bars are hidden. So if you go to a folder, you don't have a visual representation of where you are in relation to the total number of files in that folder. If I start scrolling, then the scroll bar appears and everything is fine. But if I stop, they disappear at the same time. So if you go to System Preferences, General, Scroll bar, and then Always, this way they are always visible. Now I want to move on to the battery indicator. Depending on how you have set it up, you may or may not actually see the battery indicator at all. You might think of going to System Preferences and then Battery, but the problem is that you can only show or hide the icon that way. But I would rather have the percentage than just an indicator. You can't do that there. So instead, go to System Preferences, Dock, and Menu Bar. Then scroll down to Battery. On the side, click Show in Menu Bar and Show Percentage. Now before I move on to the next setting, if you like what you've seen so far and have gotten value from this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. It helps the video and the channel. And it also lets me know what kind of content you like, so I can make more of it. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you can stay up to date on my latest shenanigans. The next setting is something that I do, but I know that not everyone is going to want to do it. So I'll show you where it's adjusted and then you can choose whether or not this is something that works for you. I'm talking about having your MacBook automatically upload files from your desktop and document folders to iCloud. You can go to System Preferences, Apple ID, iCloud Drive, and then click on Options, and you can choose whether you want access to these files from other devices. I use Google Drive, so that way I'm in control of what goes where. The next set of features has to do with display settings. I'm going to show you how to control them manually and how to set up defaults to do the things. Click on the control center from the menu bar, then go to display section and expand it. First, you may want to toggle the dark mode on or off, depending on your situation. You can also activate or disable night shift and true tone. Night shift adds a warm tone to the display because some studies have shown that blue light can interfere with your sleep. If you want night shift to come on automatically, then click on Display Preferences at the bottom, go to Night Shift, where you can set up a schedule and control the color temperature. If you want dark mode to activate automatically, you go to System Preferences, General, and then select Auto from the Appearance option. Moving on, I try not to leave files on the desktop because it drives me nuts. But after a few weeks of use, it does happen to everyone. I need things to be organized, so first I sort them by name. I go to View, Sort by Name, and then this way the icons aren't randomly positioned on the screen. Next, to group items by kind, I select View and then use Stacks. For example, if I put a whole bunch of video files on the desktop, when I activate Stacks, you'll see what happens. You can click on a stack to open it, click again to close it. You can also browse through files by swiping left or right with 2 fingers, and then of course you can double click to open a file. The next thing I want to talk about is more of a tip than a setting. But to get Spotlight Search, this feature is activated by holding down Command and Spacebar. I use it to do things quickly, like searching for apps, fast calculations, or you can use it for definitions. If you want the whole thing, just click on it and you'll get the full definition. Hopefully these MacBook tips were useful to you. If you want, you can check out some of my other videos. Don't forget to subscribe and join the community.